I actually came to a protest just up the road there, about half a kilometre up the road, back when I was in about year 7 or year 8. And Pauline Hanson was coming to Newcastle to bring her unique brand of racist xenophobia. And there was a big community protest here. And I understand that there were some Labor Party people spoke at that rally and said Pauline Hanson is not welcome to bring this racist xenophobia to Newcastle. As a community, we say no, piss off, get out of here. And it's really disappointing to me that, 20 years on from that, or 15 years on from that, that now the Labor Party is actually putting into place the policies that Pauline Hanson was talking about and that John Howard was talking about. I think it's disgraceful. I was on the Triple J hack website and I was having a look at that, and there was some discussion there, and there was people saying, oh, we need to stop these boat people coming in and bludgeoning off us. And I think that really says a lot about the way that this whole scapegoating of refugees flips the reality of the situation completely on its head. Australia is... Australia is a wealthy country, and it's not refugees that are bludgeoning off us. Where do people's clothes get made? Where do the cars get made? Where do these electronics get made? Where does it all get made? In sweatshops. Alright? So Australia benefits from the labour of people in the 3/4 of the world that are, in the global south. So to say that there's, 10 or 15,000 refugees coming here and they're bludgeoning off us, it totally takes the reality of our position in the world and flips it on its head. And I find that really offensive. We've got troops in Afghanistan still to this day participating. See, this is the problem. When the Labor Party comes out and supports policies like this, it takes underlying racism and xenophobia in the community and it confirms it and it amplifies it. It's a difficult situation in wealthy countries like Australia where the capitalists run the show. It's difficult to be a progressive in a place like this when you've got Rupert Murdoch and friends pumping out all this media that says, oh, the boat people, they're coming to get us, oh, fear the boat people, hate the boat people. We do not solve that problem. The progressive side of politics does not fix or solve that problem by giving in to it and by putting up the white flag and saying, yes, we're going to join this scapegoating of refugees. It is a challenging environment here for the left to organise, but we don't fix that problem by giving in and by joining the scapegoating brigade. We've got troops in Afghanistan who are participating in that occupation. This is one of the places that these refugees come from. And Therese made the good point before, that by having policies like this, we're saying, right, we're going to come in, we're going to invade your country, we're going to occupy it to control a place that links into a strategic part of the world where oil and gas come from and flow through, and don't try and get away from it. We will come there and we will bomb you with our drones, and you stay there and you suffer it. We will prop up warlords and you stay there and you suffer it, and you don't try and run away from that, and you don't try and find freedom and safety. What an outrageous thing. It's bad enough that we're participating in that invasion and that occupation, and it's twice as bad that we then send this message that you should stay there and suffer it and don't try and run away. And then similar in Sri Lanka, there's a military junta that runs Sri Lanka. Before that country was colonised, it used to be two countries, Tamil Elam with its own language and culture, and then the southern part of Sri Lanka, it was colonised, it was turned into one country, and now the military dictatorship in Sri Lanka oppresses the Tamil population in the north and east part of the country, and it doesn't make sense. The head of that junta the dictator Rajapaksa, came to Australia to the Chogam conference in 2011, and Julia Gillard was sitting there shaking his hand and having a good time. You can't have it both ways. You can't support and shake hands with brutal dictators and then try and clamp down and scapegoat refugees. And I think that's what this is. I think history will look back on the year 2013 and they'll say the North Pole was melting and Australia was continuing to expand coal exports while the North Pole was melting, but the most important and urgent thing that you could find to talk about and announce a big policy announcement on was some refugees coming here to try and find safety. What a joke. It's about scapegoating, and it's disgusting that the ALP want to one-up the Liberals by going even harder on it. Refugees are not to blame for a lack of services. It's not refugees that are to blame for university funding being cut to fund the Gonski reforms. So it's outrageous, and the way to fight it is not to join the race to the bottom. The way to fight it is to have more rallies like this, and I'd strongly encourage Labor Party members to come out vocally against what the faceless men are doing in your party and take a stand against this rubbish.
Yeah. Woo! Thank you, guys.